beginning. Our story begins in 2015. There were less than 500 cars on the roads here in New Zealand, which was ridiculous because this beautiful island nation nestled at the bottom of the South Pacific has clean energy. Even in 2015, over 80% of our electricity was generated through renewable sources. And the topography and geography of our nation makes us perfect for the electrification movement, and we should have, could have, and we're ready to be a force to be reckoned with in the electric vehicle conversation. So why in 2015 were there so few electric cars? Everybody here knows the story and knows it well. The barriers to adoption the world over have been the same. Charging range, performance ideals, cost of ownership, and of course the fear of change. So the founders of ChargeNet and the communities that were working closely together with ChargeNet decided to educate and empower people through conversations, collaboration, and also a nationwide network to remove the barrier of range anxiety. Now, the communication and the strategy was simple. Learn from other countries. Other countries were vastly ahead of us, and we can learn from their wins and their mistakes. We had the opportunity to look into and understand market sectors, and we also knew from previous countries' experience, other countries' experiences, what overcoming barriers meant. Simple things like charging for fast charging, a very important part of the conversation, and that's something that we believe in heavily. Now, the messaging had to be simple. Electric vehicles make everyday journeys cheaper and easier and more enjoyable. The best way to allow people to understand this is to get them in the cars. So we've been doing that through outreach, community champions, the Better NZ Charitable Trust, and the Leading the Charge road trip. ChargeNet also has the nation covered. We made sure that you can go farther, faster, and we're working together with numerous partners to put in a nationwide charging network. Now, the channels and methods, both traditional and social and online communications channels, most conversations, as everybody in the audience knows, happen on Twitter. Twitter is probably the most popular electric vehicle conversation method, but in New Zealand, our most active channel is the Facebook owners group, which is New Zealand EV Owners. Now, social media plays an absolutely crucial part, and then of course traditional media and uptake as well. So there was the hashtag Leading the Charge road trip. It was a road trip that went from one end of New Zealand to the other and outlined the gaps in the network, gave us an opportunity to meet, greet, and enlist the help of numerous individuals and organizations, obviously rides and drives, and then meeting and thanking the champions with things as simple as t-shirts or materials or collateral, and also taking them out for dinner and a meal. Channels and methods we're still using today. We have numerous outreach programs, everything from Electric Avenue, which will be happening in November. We go out and we do school presentations, and then of course there's the podcast, the NZ EV Owners podcast, which is very popular here in New Zealand and around the world. We engage with people where they are and how they would like to speak to us. So we try and make it as easy to be available as possible. Now, segments and objectives, if you take the time to look at the presentation that will be available through the EVS website, we wanted to normalize the ownership and adoption of electrification here in New Zealand. We had to start somewhere, and we had to reach out to people and again speak their language and meet them where they are. We've seen how the market has evolved and matured in other areas, and we wanted to take all those learnings and then help New Zealand to get to a better place and also make the decision, make the choice to change to electrified transport. Now, we had to start somewhere, and our three major foundation partners were BMW, North Power, and Zed Energy. We still have excellent relationships with all of these organizations. And we are incredibly and eternally grateful for the innovative and excellent work that they do in outreach and also supporting us in various ways here in New Zealand and around the world. So BMW is doing great. Z Energy keeps winning awards, as they should. And the fact of the matter is, any way you slice it, collaboration is key. I've said it a million times. So we work with government, we work with the public and the private sectors, we work with small organizations, huge multinationals, and large New Zealand firms as well, to help bring the message of ease of ownership for electric vehicle owners here in New Zealand any way we can by sharing good, tested and accurate information through any channels possible. So yeah, those relationships are incredibly important and we take them very seriously, and it's an honor to have been so successful. We have reached over 10,000 electric vehicles here in New Zealand, and we've done this through communities, education, collaboration, and outreach, and also tenacity. We keep going. When we get tired, we take a little breather, and then we get right back in the ring and start sharing the message of a cleaner, kinder, better future for New Zealand and the world. Energy independence is incredibly possible for this country, and the only way that we will get there is through electrification of transport. This simple messaging, shared in as many ways as possible, has been the foundation of our success, and here is a very clear example. The light orange is the government targets, which of course go up on a nice even keel, and as you can see, we are absolutely spanking the government targets. We have not only met and exceeded the doubling every year that the government had encouraged us all to do, and has been quite literally putting their money where their mouth is through things like the Contestable Fund, and actively running, monitoring, and managing their own communication and outreach. We have an excellent, robust second-hand market here in New Zealand, and the manufacturers here in the country are starting to embrace and take care of the move to electric for fleets, and we'll see how that goes. Now, some of the personal targets of ChargeNet have also been blown out of the water. We had originally thought that 75 stations across the North and South Island would get the country to where it needed to be for easy travel for entry-level vehicles. We've now got over 100 stations, and there's more people putting more stations in, and a more robust and assertive AC charging network coming into play as well. The government target of doubling every year stays on the cards, but it's been met and exceeded, and now we just have to support the drivers and keep ahead of that curve. Now, if you have a look at the, this is just ChargeNet, this is just the ChargeNet map. As we said, over 100 stations, many more under construction as we speak. And then we're going to be moving into both AC solutions that will have smart grid capacity, as well as HPC solutions, which we are going to be working on in the very near future and introducing here in New Zealand. So unfortunately, Steve and Dee couldn't be here, but here's a little conversation from them. Why is it not?
Yeah, it should be playing automatically.